Spoilers for The Social Network. Now, this movie's not about Facebook. It's about all the people involved with the creation of Facebook. And what they had to deal with and what happened. The movie starts off with the main character, Zuckerberg. He's having dinner with supposedly his girlfriend, Erica, in a restaurant. And they're going back and forth and arguing on issues. And, you know, Zuckerberg just has to outwit her and everything and insult her to the point where she just gets fed up, calls him a nasty name, and just walks out. Says, we're finished. Well, Zuckerberg, this really upsets him. And he goes back to his dorm. He's had a few drinks, and he starts writing some nasty things about her in his blog. And if that wasn't enough, he would later hack into the university's database and download, basically all the photos of the women who go there, all the girls who go to the school, and he line them up 200 page side by side, and people would vote which one is hotter, left or right. Now, this was a big hit, and everybody was logging in and voting, and the system got so many hits that it crashed. And that was Zuckerman's first lawsuit, having to deal with, the university. What he was doing was illegal. So, but there was these three guys here, these frat boys, rich frat boys, and part of the rowing team at the Harvard, and they see what this Zuckerberg has done, and they say, hey, this is our guy, because they have an idea of having a computer system that's a Harvard social network, kind of a small version of Facebook, just locally. This was their idea, and they asked Zuckerberg, hey, we need a guy like you to help program this for us. Are you in? Well, he was in, and he would do the work and the coding, and they would be, I guess, the financial backing. And Zuckerberg starts working on this project, and he's basically doing it on his own, behind everybody's back, making it his own. He calls it the Facebook. Now, he does have a roommate, Eduardo, basically his only friend in the world. And, he was making Eduardo a partner. Eduardo would help with the financial backing, do some promotion. But Zuckerman kind of left him in the dark too. He just kept working on his Facebook project, and he set it up, bought the domain name, put it under his name, and eventually these frat boys would say, hey, this guy just stole our idea. Look what he's done. He's called it the Facebook, calling it his own. And so, that's another lawsuit that Zuckerman will have to deal with a little later, when the frat boys, they decide they want to sue. But, he's doing this Facebook thing, Eduardo's there with him. But then Timberlake comes into the picture, and Timberlake he's the founder of Napster, and Zuckerberg's impressed by this kid, but Eduardo doesn't like him at all. He just sees him as kind of a smooth talking con man, and eventually he would be. But Timberlake takes him out to dinner, fancy place. He says, you should come out to California, that's where all the connections are. You can make this into a billion-dollar business here, what you got. And, Zuckerberg he eventually loves this idea. He's taken in by Timberlake. Zuckerberg's not about the money, but he's about the power. And so Zuckerberg goes to California, and Eduardo stays behind because he's got some kind of scholarship in New York. But, he'll still do some promoting back there for the Facebook. And meanwhile, Timberlake runs into Zuckerberg in California, and he moves in, and they start having parties and socializing, and they're kind of leaving Eduardo out of the loop here. And finally, they get some big investors that are interested in this Facebook, but they need Eduardo to come to California and sign some papers. And Eduardo comes, and they basically tell him you'll be 30-something% ownership. Zuckerberg will be like 51%, Timberlake 6%, and a couple other people, investors, a smaller percentage. And Eduardo, okay, he goes along with this. And just to find out later, they were really screwing him over. He's really only ended up with 0.03%. Basically Timberlake talked Zuckerberg into screwing his only friend. Well, Eduardo, when he realizes what's happening, there's a big blow up when he says, I'm going to sue you now for everything. And, Timberlake don't care. He's just about the money. So you're just going to see a lot of, nothing really goes to court. You're just going to see a lot of scenes where they're sitting in a big room with a bunch of lawyers at a big table debating, who came up with what idea, who should get, what percentage, and really just trying to sort all this out. Well, in the end, Zuckerberg really, he doesn't have much of a choice. He just kind of has to settle and pay out some money to all these people involved. Now, it's undisclosed how much Eduardo got, but it must be quite substantial. We can assume that. And, we see Zuckerberg there just kind of looking lonely, like he alienated a lot of people. Well, actually, he didn't know a lot of people, but he alienated Eduardo, his girlfriend Erica. Timberlake was never a real friend. This was all business. And sadly, we just see Zuckerberg there sitting at the table there in the end with his laptop, looking at Erica's profile online and requesting friendship, and just waiting for her to reply, refreshing the screen, waiting for her to reply. We never see her reply. I guess we can assume she doesn't. And this billionaire doesn't really care much about money. He's really just sitting there, a lonely, pathetic sight. And that's all I have to say about The Social Network.